Hello and welcome to 5-Minute History. Today, we'll be taking a journey through time and exploring a world that never existed. We'll be asking the question, what if Africa never had European colonization? Join us as we imagine a world where African civilizations were allowed to flourish on their own terms. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Africa was carved up by European powers. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 was the turning point, where European nations met to divide Africa amongst themselves. By the end of this conference, nearly 90% of Africa was under colonial rule. The consequences of European colonization were far-reaching and profound. The exploitation of Africa's natural resources and the forced labor of its people had a devastating impact. Millions of Africans were taken from their homes and sent to work on colonial plantations, mines, and infrastructure projects. The economies of African nations were redirected to serve the needs of European colonies, and Africa became dependent on imports from Europe. African cultures, traditions, and languages were suppressed, and colonial rule left deep scars that still affect Africa today. But what if Europe never colonized Africa? What would the continent look like today? The Kingdom of Ghana, one of the largest and most prosperous African civilizations of its time, would have continued to flourish. According to historian Dr. Ivan van Sertima, Ghana controlled the gold and salt trade routes, which brought wealth and prosperity to the kingdom. In a world without European colonization, Ghana's well-established trade networks would have allowed it to become a major player in the world economy. Timbuktu, known as the City of Scholars, would have remained a hub of intellectual and cultural exchange. Its universities, such as Sankore University and the Jingreber Mosque, were renowned for their learning and attracted scholars from across Africa and the Islamic world. In a world without European colonization, Timbuktu would have continued to be a center of learning and cultural exchange. The ancient civilization of Egypt, with its rich cultural heritage and powerful influence, would have continued to thrive. Egypt was one of the most technologically advanced civilizations of its time, and its pyramids, monuments, and temples are still awe-inspiring today. In a world without European colonization, Egypt would have had the opportunity to continue its legacy of innovation and creativity, developing new technologies, art, and philosophy. The city of Great Zimbabwe, one of the largest and most impressive ancient African civilizations, would have continued to prosper. Great Zimbabwe was a center of trade and commerce, attracting merchants from across the continent and beyond. Its towering stone structures, such as the Great Enclosure, still stand today as a testament to its architectural prowess. In a world without European colonization, Great Zimbabwe would have had the opportunity to continue its legacy of innovation, trade, and prosperity. The Ashanti Kingdom, with its powerful army and vast gold mines, would have become a dominant force in Africa. Its influence would have spread throughout the continent, establishing a new era of prosperity and wealth. According to historian Professor Ranoko Rashidi, the Ashanti Kingdom was one of the strongest and richest African states, and its army was well-trained and equipped. In a world without European colonization, the Ashanti Kingdom would have continued to be a powerful African nation. In this alternate world, Africa would have remained a continent of peace, where different tribes lived in harmony and cooperation. According to sociologist Dr. Walter Rodney, if Africa had never been colonized, its people would have been free to develop their own economies and cultures, building their own futures and shaping their own destinies. African civilizations would have had the opportunity to develop their own unique technologies, philosophies, and political systems, free from outside interference. Today, Africa is a vibrant, diverse, and rapidly developing continent, with a rich cultural heritage and a bright future. But imagine a world where Africa had never been colonized by European powers. Imagine a world where African civilizations had been allowed to flourish and develop on their own terms. In this world, Africa would be a beacon of prosperity, a center of innovation, and a leader in the global community. And that's it for today. We hope you've enjoyed exploring this alternate world with us. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join our community of history enthusiasts. Until next time, keep exploring and discovering the world of history.